Hello and welcome to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker with a Chinese green. Now it's February, and this can be a time when many people are thinking ahead to the next harvest. Chinese greens can start coming in around late March, early April, and so you may be thinking waiting off. But it can also be a good time to look for some deals on last year's greens. They're still got plenty of, oftentimes if they're stored well, they still have plenty of freshness to them. And with 2012, you can taste it, you know what you're getting. The upcoming harvest, depending on the weather conditions, you don't know how it's going to compare. So scooping out enough of this tea to cover the bottom 1.5 inches of my gaiwan here. My water's been brought to a kind of an early boil, hasn't fully rumbled and rolled yet, but it's going to be hot enough to cover my leaves here. I'm going to add enough so a little bit sits just above the rim of the lid. When I put my lid on here, I'll be able to talk about this tea as I do so. Splash more, just a splash more. That looks good. Okay, let that sit and steep. Introduce this tea. This tea is from Teavivre. This is an organic Hangzhou OrgTianMuQingDing is the name. OrgTianMuQingDing. So Hangzhou is the name of the city. Tianmu is the name of a mountain. So this is from the Tianmu mountain area in Lin'an County, which is in the region of the Hangzhou city in China. You can get a 14-gram sample for $3. You want to keep an eye out. Again, this is a time when companies may be trying to move out their 2012 green teas to make room for their upcoming harvest 2013. This particular tea, what else can I tell you, may also, if you want to compare it to what others are offering, may also be called a Tianmu Yunwu. Cloud and fog, cloud and mist is the Yunwu part. This is organic and certified by USDA, EU, and the JAS, which is a Japanese agricultural standard for organics. So it's certified 3 different ways. Talking about this tea and introducing it now, let's go ahead and talk about the dry leaf, wet leaf, and the liquor. Go ahead and start off with the dry here. This is getting, I'm getting some of that kind of nutty type of smell. I'm getting green smells, of course, and this is more in the realm of some almost kind of parsley-like. There's a herby green kind of aspect here. There's a nutty aspect I mentioned as well. Let me scoop out a little bit here. It does have some a gentle, light, almost floral-like sweetness to it as well. That's it's gentle, it's subtle, it's lighter than compared to some other green teas. Scooping out here, though, what I see are its colors are like a green moving over towards a little bit of a brownish tinge to them. A lot of these pieces are individual leaves that look like, sometimes more than one, where it's branched off. In this case I have here in my hand. A lot of cases 1 inch or more in length. An individual leaf wrapped along or twisted along the length of the vein of the middle vein of the leaf there. So that's why what makes them long. Fairly brittle. These look to be tender leaves that look like they would snap if they've been dried and straightened and twisted and shaped there. So I'm going to go ahead now and get to the actual pouring of my leaf here. Let me angle my lid over to the side a little bit, get my pitcher ready, and here we go. Shake out those last few drops, and be able to talk a little bit about the wet leaf now. Shake this out a little bit and give this a smell here. I actually want to shake some of the leaves that may have rested on the side fall down to the bottom a little bit. Now, getting the nutty, the toasty aspect is the first thing that's present. With that, over towards a lima bean, a beanie type aspect here. Now in the lid is where a lot of the sweeter, lighter fragrances trying to kind of congregate. And that's where you do get more of the vegetable sweetness. You know, almost a little bit of a fresh sweet pea. Over towards a little bit of a fresh sweet green bean type aspect there. Let me save a few of these leaves. For example, you do have some leaves that are, again, more than an inch in length. These are fully unfurled in many cases now. This particular one, it's got a little bit of brown, a little oxidation or heat that has discolored it, changed this color there. You do have some needle-like components there, tender leaves that have just kind of become a leaf of their own and have just come off, but may not have actually even unfurled and flattened out yet to actually work as a leaf yet. Some stem pieces, so I'll leave that there. Let me push some of these off to the side. So yeah, every once in a while you get a little stem piece that doesn't have a leaf attached to it anymore. You do see some sets. There's some leaf and bud type sets. We've got at least 2 of those here. Still fairly smallish, tender looking leaves. Color-wise, still towards an olive drab and not as much as a brighter, vibrant green. That's likely due to the toasting, the firing aspect that's been applied to this. Toasty aspects, again, coming out here. Almost lightly toasted rice. Over more towards a kind of a beanie type of note. Let me give that a pour here. Looking at it, it's a pale, it's a lighter yellow with a little tinge of green in there. You still see some of the filament from the leaf floating around in there as well. Looking down in the cup, it's not murky or cloudy by any means. So let's give this, I'm going to give this a taste here. Had a bit of an astringent coating, not so much a bite or necessarily like as harsh as a black tea maybe, but an obvious astringent coating that first hits the tongue and even coats the insides of the cheeks, a little bit of the roof of the mouth there at the first. Still the toasty, the nutty component is still the stronger, followed by, in the aftertaste, it gets more of the beanie type of note there. I speak too soon. You could get a little beanie there, but still, in the aftertaste, that astringency has died away. Texture-wise, compared to other Chinese greens, this one's got as smooth, if not a bit smoother, texture and coating than some other Chinese greens. And the aftertaste, this has got a quite nice aftertaste. It's sweet. It's a bit sticky. It's got some richness in that sense to it, as far as the back of the mouth. It's not sitting so much. Some people evaluate the lower it sits down into your throat, the better. This one is kind of right around my lower jawbone here. So in that sense, it's got some staying power, I should say. That in that sense, it's gradually tapering off and starting to fade away now. But so compared to others, this one's got some duration to it. It's got some richness to it, and again, a good sweetness to it. So when I look at this one, I'm probably going to give this one a 90. It's got some nice components to it. If you are familiar with Chinese greens, this one is in the category of some of the the Anji Baichas that I've tasted. So if you want to keep that in your mind as kind of a reference point, that may be helpful to you. So come back to Walker Tea Review to kind of be mentally storing away those teas that you want to be looking for now or in the future.